All right, welcome to Making Music. Hey, and this is part 2 of the Fender Custom Shop show. Last week we talked about some of the history of Fender and the custom shop, and this week I'm going to talk about some of the artist guitars and some of the more modern things that you're doing. This other direction. You guys are kind of the point man for the whole company, really. You're going to take it in a direction. And I got my Fender crew shirt on here today. My wife will be mad because it's wrinkled, but you know, hey, yeah. But tell us about what is this that you have here? Oh, but let me for those who didn't see us last week, I'm sorry, Mike. You know, we got 2 different guys. We got Mike Eldred, who is our custom shop director
of sales and marketing for the custom division.
Okay, of the custom division of Fender guitars. Okay. And Mark Blazquez, who's our regional sales manager.
Yeah, district sales manager and all-around cool guy.
All-around cool guy and good guitar players, both of them. You can tell they like what they do because they play these guitars and they sound good. So tell us about what you got. What have you got here now? What's in your hand here?
Well, this is what we call a Strat Pro. And I talked about this last week. The Fender Custom Shop has 2 charges. It's to preserve the rich legacy of Fender, and then also to push the company in different directions as far as pickup design and manufacturing techniques, things like that. And a lot of what you see in what we call product line 10 or the main production line stuff, a lot of those guitars that you see today, 2-3 years ago, were custom shop instruments. And so what we continue to do is we continue to push the envelope a little bit in design, and a lot of the stuff that we come up with shows up on the regular production line guitars. This is what we call a Stratocaster Pro, and this was really built because we wanted to have a guitar that really kind of appealed to the guy who's out gigging every night and doing his thing, you know, in a local band or something like that. And so what we did is we went through and we made some modifications to the regular Stratocaster. We went with the bigger peg head design because a lot of the guys who see this peg head, they call this a vintage headstock, and you know, because the demographic is growing up.
It's changing.
You know?
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, what's vintage now? Yeah.
so it definitely has a vibe to it. It's you know, a real kind of 70s deep purple type of you know, vibe to it. So it's kind of a fun guitar.
Yeah, it sounds great. Now this, I see it's got a Guitar Showcase tag on it. So
yeah.
This is one you just took off the floor and
I
just
grabbed
brought
this
in.
off the floor. Yeah, this is a great guitar. I might buy this one later on today.
You might have to own it, right?
If I can get a nice deal on it.
We'll give you a good deal.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Always.
Yeah. You know the guys there.
I
so,
know the guys there.
we
Yeah, I know you always get a good deal at Guitar Showcase.
Right. Yeah. See,
anyways,
that'll get him a deal right there.
So anyways, what this guitar has a bunch of really neat stuff going along with it. It has a LSR nut, which is a really cool nut. It has two bearings in each one of the slots. And what happens is when you use a tremolo, on a normal guitar, sometimes you get bound up in here. With this one, it just glides freely in there.
Right.
These are locking shallow tuners on the back of this. Really, really nice setup that has this on here.
Now, we don't have the whammy bar on there. I should mention that many of our Stratocasters, you know, and I think we're a little remiss at Guitar Showcase, we don't put them on. We assume everybody knows that every Stratocaster, except for the hardtail, you know, virtually everyone comes with it, threads in that little hole there on the bridge and allows you to do the whammy bar stuff.
Yep.
You know, and we just don't put them in there because you know, it's in the case, comes with a guitar.
Yeah.
We didn't put one on there, and I really should have them on there, you know, because that is part of the Stratocaster.
Yep. Just so you know, at NAMM shows and things, when I go to display the guitars, I never put the arm on them.
I know.
I always keep them in the case because to me it's better that way.
Yeah, and we do it the same way, but I feel like I need to do it sometimes. But so this has a roller nut up here, so the strings
LSR
roll on the bearings.
So it keeps in tune really good when you're using the tremolo system. The tremolo system is a design that we made in the custom shop that is specific to custom shop guitars right now.
Okay.
These are stainless steel saddles that are machined.
Each one hand done.
Each one hand done, and then the block that's on this bridge is a machined piece of 1018 cold rolled steel. So. It's not a cast block, which normally on this bridge design on the American Deluxe series, it's a cast block that's on it and cast saddles, which has a sound of its own.
Right.
But
Is it safe to say though that a cast block that a block like this is going to be more better sustaining kind of a thing?
It's different.
Yeah, you never want to use better because
Yeah.
it's just a different thing. What happens is that this bridge is a little brighter.
Okay.
And so what happens with that, we wanted, and you'll see when I get into these other things, because it's kind of like making a bouillabaisse, you know, or a gumbo. You got to put all this stuff in, and it comes out this really nice, delicious thing, which is what this is. So this bridge will give us a little bit more brightness out of it. It has a round lamb fingerboard, which I don't know if you can get a shot of that.
Right at the edge
right
here?
at the edge of the fingerboard, there's a curve. It looks like the rosewood is curved alongside of the maple.
Right, they can see that.
And
Sure.
and what the way we do that is we take the maple and we cut convex on it, and then on the rosewood we do a concave on it, and they fit together like a puzzle.
Right.
So it's like this. And what happens is that now you have this it strengthens the neck.
Absolutely.
Fender is really the first company that ever started doing that, and it really makes a really nice, strong, sturdy neck. It also will brighten it up a little bit.
Okay.
So now you have the bridge going like this, you have this going on right here, you have this roller nut. And so you got a lot of stuff on the high end brightness side now. What we've done here with the pickups, these are custom designed, these are SCN pickups, they're Sumerian Cobalt. They're a noiseless pickup design. They're wound in a way where they sound very thick and full, so I'll turn. There's a lot of some tubbiness in there.
Yeah.
Nice and fat sounding. So it competes like with humbuckers and things like that. Really nice sounding pickups. There's a 5-position switch in here so you can get all the in-between sounds. And the back pickup is just a little bit hotter so you can, lean into it a little bit more.
Now you mentioned cobalt a minute ago. That's the magnetic structure?
That's the magnet structure, yeah.
Okay.
And it's
So it's a rare earth type magnet?
Yeah.
Rather than just a common iron magnet?
Yeah,
And that
and-
makes it hotter and sounds different?
It's a little thicker
Okay.
sounding.
Okay. All these things affect tone?
All these things affect the tone. A lot of guitars, like if Mark plays this guitar a little bit on the front pickup, go ahead, just play something. And I roll the tone off. If I roll the tone off like that, you can hear that it kind of goes like this.
Yeah.
And it takes off some of that. Now if you take this guitar and you do that same thing, you still get that tone thing happening, but you don't lose any gain.
Right.
And you can dial it in.
And that's called the grease bucket circuit, right?
That's called a grease bucket circuit. And this grease bucket
Grease
circuit,
bucket. All right.
this is the name that I came up with by sitting down with Billy Gibbons.
Okay.
And Billy wanted to have a custom guitar made, and I said, you know what, we're working on this circuit, this tone circuit, and I'd like to put it in this guitar for you. And he was ecstatic and said, he goes, well, what are you going to, and once he tried it out, he goes, well, what are we going to call it? I go, we should call it a grease bucket, because it sounds like a grease bucket is like grease can, like, I don't know about you, Gary, it probably happened, but when I was growing up, my mom had a coffee can on the stove.
Absolutely. All the
And
bacon grease went
all
right
the bacon
there?
grease went in there, and then
Yep.
after that, what would you use the bacon grease for?
Well, you'd use it to fry your eggs in or whatever you wanted to.
Exactly.
Little dip sop and absolutely.
So anyways, that's kind of, it's a real usable tone circuit.
Yeah.
Billy loved it a lot, and he actually we put it in a guitar that had these pickups in it too. So it's just kind of a feature when we sit down and mess with the artists and talk to them about stuff like that pops up, and we put it in guitar and
It's heritage, it's tone,
Yeah.
it's the vibe, it's the magic, it's all part of it.
Yep. This has a 12-inch radius.
Wow, that's really flat.
So it's nice and flat, so
Yeah.
you can really, it's meant for bending, it's meant for gig. This is a gigging guitar.
Yeah, that's why they call it the Strat Pro.
Yeah.
It's
So
all the
for-
modifications are kind of things that the pro players and the pro Strat guys have done over the years.
Yeah.
Most guys who've taken the Strat out have found out if you really mangle it, it'll drift out of tune a little bit, so there's locking tuning machines
Locking
in the nuts.
tuners, roller nut.
Yeah, that's
special
the
bridge.
nitrocellulose
bridge.
finish, which a lot of people ask
Oh, this
for
has a
in
nitro
custom shop.
finish?
This
Yeah.
is a nitro finish on it, and
Okay.
actually a part of the finish that's going on with this is that we've actually closet classic finished this guitar, which is, if you remember the last show we talked about the 3 stages of distress when we do like a relic type of a guitar. There's new old stock, which is like a brand new guitar. There's closet classic, which is a guitar that's been played a little bit, but still taken care of, really good care
But
of.
it's still old and it's probably cracked a little bit through time, yeah.
Right.
And then the
Has
relic
that vibe.
finish, which is rusted up and things like this. So the bridge has got some tarnish on it. The finish has actually got some cracking in it. The pickguard's a little scratched up. It's the first time we've offered that type of finish on a contemporary type guitar. This has strap locks on it.
Cool,
on
because
this
we
guitar.
need that on a gig.
Yeah, and then,
absolutely.
And then we've actually did this little cutaway thing here. What this does is it gives you a little bit easier access when you're good up to the high register on the guitar.
For guys like you that can play up there.
We just
see.
knock out.
With
Well, I
me, it
don't-
doesn't matter.
I don't normally go past the 5th fret myself. But anyways, this is a feature that we did for Jeff Beck on a couple
Oh,
of his
he wanted
guitars.
that, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah, absolutely.
we incorporated that in here.
So you use a lot of the tips from the pros.
Yeah, and
That's very cool.
You know, it just makes a really cool sounding guitar. It has a satin finish neck on it, and then each one it's got this pro model. See if we can get that in here. If you can close up on that, I don't know if you can. Here we go. Sorry. There
There.
you go. It's got this thing called, it says Pro Model 1106, I think.
Oh, I see the little writing on the
Yeah,
back
a little
of the
writing
headstock.
on thing, and it
Okay,
designates which Pro model this is, because we're going
Okay.
to be, at some
Different
point.
pro models have different specs.
Yeah, and at some
Okay.
point we will
Very cool.
retire this model and we'll pop in a new one, and it'll be it's just a neat guitar. And there's a lot of custom features that goes on this guitar, but it's priced, I think,
Well,
reasonable.
what is the map price, the street price for this guitar, Mark? That's your department.
1680,
Yeah.
right around there.
Around
which
16,
is
17.
amazing when you're looking at a custom shop.
Yeah.
Custom
made
shop piece,
Fender
handmade,
guitar with all that stuff. Yeah.
has all the heritage, all the
Yep.
tone, and sounds killer.
And what this is made, what this is directed towards is the guy out there who has multiple guitars. I mean, if you're a guitar player, and if you're gigging and you're semi-pro or pro doing things like that, you have multiple instruments. And so if you have several different types of instruments, maybe it's a humbucking guitar or something like that, then you might want to get you say, oh, I want to get a nice Stratocaster, you know, and but I
This
just want
is
to have it
it.
as a secondary instrument.
Yeah.
Then this is a perfect thing to get into. So that's kind of what this
That's
is,
cool.
and it's a real good example of us pushing a little bit more of design stuff out there, and it's kind of like a prototype guitar, you know. So for us, and we'll try different stuff on it. The thing that's really interesting about this guitar is, like I just touched on it briefly, is that this won't not be in the line forever. We'll pull this guitar out.
It's evolving.
Yeah,
Right.
we'll pull it out and we'll put something else in, and it'll be a Pro Model.
So
1206
basically,
or
get them
something.
while you can, and then
Get them
we're-
while
we're
you
gonna-
can.
we're
And
gonna go
I
from
would
there.
get this one before I do at Guitar Showcase today.
That's the one. Well, tell me now. We've got artist guitars too.
Yeah.
Stevie Ray Vaughan. Boy,
Yeah.
there's a great guitar. I mean,
Yeah.
look at that. It looks like you drug it behind the truck to get it here, but that was a reproduction. Look at that. It's almost lost all of its finish. Now, you mean to tell me you started with a perfectly brand new Sunburst
Yeah.
Strat?
Yeah, we actually do start it off because you have to.
You have to
Yeah.
get that tone.
Yeah,
And
and if you look close at this, there's some stuff that's kind of interesting on here. If you look, I'm not sure how close you can get to the headstock here, but originally these are not the tuners that would have been on the guitar that Stevie
Right.
would have originally bought, right? The old style Fender tuners were put on the guitar and then removed and replaced with the other one. So there's little holes,
so it has the
little
holes,
indentations
right?
in
You
there
can
where
see
the
that,
original
yeah.
ones.
So it has the
The
holes
attention
where
to
the-
details is amazing.
Yeah.
because those holes might affect the tone. You know, it's possible. I mean, it's amazing.
Well, the thing that what this is part of our tribute series, and the tribute series, like everything we do in the custom shop, evolves and focuses, and we really we started looking at what we were doing. We were putting tribute series guitars in the line and just leaving them there. We were doing a couple of things, and just kind of, and there wasn't really a whole lot of fanfare around it, and we felt really bad about that. We wanted to really kind of focus in on what we were doing. So it's this process actually started evolving when we did the reproduction of the Woodstock Stratocaster, the white Woodstock Stratocaster. We only made 4 of those, and I'm a Hendrix freak, so I asked them. I said, "Can I go out and build these myself?" And so they flew me up to Seattle. The guitar's at EMP, Experience Music Project up there, and I got to take the guitar apart and
the actual one.
weigh it, videotaped everything, photographed everything. They filmed me filming it and the whole bit. It was really crazy took it apart, weighed everything, measured everything, went back and built 4 prototypes that are basically clones of the instrument. And one went to Janie Hendrix, one went to EMP, one went to the Fender Museum in Corona, California, and then one was auctioned off for charity on eBay, and I think it went for about $10,000 or $15,000 in like 20 minutes. It was
I'd
like,
love
boom.
to have it for that now, because it's worth 100 at least.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so that was really kind of.
Did that lead to this guitar?
Well, we actually did this guitar first, but this guitar, if you hand me that guitar, I'll just
Absolutely.
kind of talk about this one a little bit.
Because this is the...
We did this guitar first.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, but this was done differently than what we did the Evolve, the Tribute series. This is a reproduction of the guitar that Jimi Hendrix burned at the Monterey Pop Festival.
This is the one he burned. I noticed it has the backstage pass up there, right there, yeah. And
the
that's
backstage
actually
pass.
one glued to it, or a
Yep.
replica of that.
And then it has all this etching back here, and it's
See,
signed
his
and
image
numbered.
is etched in the back plate. Okay.
Now there are numbers on that backstage pass. What do those mean?
It's we did 210 of these, and
Okay.
so this was number 74 of 210.
So they're all individually numbered.
It's strung left-handed. There's a strap hole here
Where it
where
was.
it would have been.
If
The
it
story of the guitar was this: Hendrix would every once in a while he would break guitars and burn them, you know, as in a tribute, you know, to the music and things like that.
Right.
They sent out to get some guitars, and they ended up getting these Fiesta Red 65 Stratocasters, and he did not like the Fiesta Red, so he actually spray painted it white on parts of it, and then he actually sat down and drew this
did his
design
artwork
on it.
and-
And it's a really great story because Eric Burton was watching him at Monterey paint the instrument, and he said it looked like it reminded him of an Indian painting his face or painting his horse before going into battle.
Right.
And it was
Oh, so he did it right there just
he did
before
it right
he went
there,
on
right
stage?
before he went on stage.
Oh, that's cool.
And he went on stage and he destroyed the guitar. Well, the guitar was destroyed, so we couldn't go back and do what we did to the Woodstock Strat, which is weigh it and replicate it and all that
Right.
stuff. So we actually had just photographs and film footage that we took the artwork off. We sent it to Pamelina, and she did the crude artwork. Pamelina's a much better artist than Jimi Hendrix was
Yeah,
as far
so
as painting.
she does great work. I
So
know.
so we had her tighten it up a little bit and paint it how she wanted
Make
to paint it.
And
So
this
it's
was
a
one
little
of the
cleaner.
Diamond Dealer series from the Custom Shop back in the 90s?
Yeah, the Diamond Dealer series, we would do a run of guitars, and there was this is a little gold V in here with a diamond right
with
in the
the
middle
actual
of it.
diamond in it.
And
That's from the Showcase collection. I know we have all of those. The Harley Davidson Strat was
Yep.
one, the Marilyn Monroe Strat was another, the Aloha Strat, there was a gold 54 Strat.
these guitars are so collectible now.
Very cool.
John Mayer, I think, has 3 or 4 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And people started collecting them. We
Absolutely.
put a lot of really cool stuff in the case. Like there was a photograph, there was a nice binder, there was a handmade leather gig bag, and then we'd actually spray patchouli oil on the inside of the case. So when you open it up, you had the whole 60s experience. You know?
What was there?
We wanted to put other stuff in the case too, but it was
Couldn't do that?
illegal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
it's also-
right, yeah.
So, anyways, this kind of was part of it evolving. But
This is-
once we did the Woodstock Strat, we knew that we could go in to these guitars and replicate what was going on and how much it weighed and things like that. And then we did limited numbers of them and offered them to people. So that's what the SRV.
Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Yeah.
And now we've got some pictures, if we could look at those, that are off your website, that if you can tell us what they are.
Sure.
I'm not sure exactly, but they're different artists, okay?
Yeah, that's Buddy Guy.
Buddy
with
Guy, you can't miss his polka dots.
Polka dotted Stratocaster that he actually sent us a shirt, and he wanted the Strat to match the shirt, and that's how that started. That's
Okay.
Eric Johnson.
Okay, and he has his own Strat now?
He has a signature Strat too.
Okay.
A very interesting guy and real blast to sit down with him and kind of come up with his guitar. It was
A
really
very,
I'll
very
bet.
popular
Now,
guitar.
who's this?
That's Geddy Lee. That's a Geddy Lee bass, which is one of the best basses that Fender makes right now.
That's cool.
To be honest
That's
with
very
you,
cool.
Everybody asks about that bass.
It's a great looking bass.
Jimmy Vaughn.
Jimmy, that's
There he
Stevie's brother.
Older brother, and that's him playing his signature model that's made in Mexico.
Right.
I've had people come up to me
Great
and say,
guitar.
"Hey, I saw him playing live, and that guitar's pretty beat up, and there's a white one." And he had said that
I don't know who this is.
that's
This is
Jimmy Bryant.
Is it?
Yeah, Jimmy Bryant and Speedy West.
Oh, cool. From the old days.
Yeah.
That's neat.
That's Marcus Miller.
Marcus Miller, he's
Yeah.
and that's his signature bass.
That's a signature bass, and the original one, I'm not supposed to be talking about this, but I'm going to anyway because it's you.
Well, thank you.
We're going to knock that bass off the original one. We're going to do a little tribute guitar.
Are we? Good.
Tribute
That'd be
bass
great.
with him.
That'd be great.
That's Reggie Hamilton,
Reggie Hamilton.
his signature bass.
Yeah, we've got some great basses. That's the other part of Fender. We're
Yeah.
gonna have to do a show on Fender basses.
Robert Cray,
Yeah,
the man right there.
he is the man.
Unbelievable guitar
A
player.
Stratocaster fan
Nicest
from
guy
way
in the
back.
world.
He is.
That's Roscoe Beck, his bass. That's a really nice playing instrument
Another
too.
great bass player. Absolutely. Those are great.
The man.
Stevie Ray Vaughan, and that's his original guitar, which this one that we have here on
Yeah.
stage
Yeah, the
is a
one that I'm
replica.
holding, yeah,
you
absolutely.
can see a definite similarity. In fact, it's replicated right down to the pick
Yeah, I was
scratches.
actually just asking Mike about the light blonde spot.
Oh no, that's part of
that
it.
you
It's all
hear.
gaffed up. Yeah.
But that's because every night.
Is
he would
that
cut-
Dick Dale?
No, that's Sting.
Sting.
Same thing.
Dick Dale didn't look like that for the last 30 years.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
No offense, Dick.
No, yeah, we love you.
That's Stu Ham.
Yeah.
Yeah, another good bass
The
player.
Urge bass.
Look at these guys.
And that is that.
I'm not sure. You got me. But another great bass player.
Yngwie Malmsteen.
And we're going to do
Yes.
something maybe with him too soon. Well, we
Yeah.
do a signature Strat.
We do
Yeah.
a signature Strat,
Yeah.
but he has the original Duck
Okay.
Stratocaster
All
that he came up with. When he came over from Sweden, he brought
Uh-huh.
that and an extra pair of pants. That was it.
That's all he needed.
And is there a reason that it's called a duck?
Yeah, it has a little Donald Duck sticker right up here.
Okay.
Well,
so it's a
that-
technical.
And so
reason.
everybody all the fans call it the Duck Stratocaster.
and
Oh,
that
cool.
contributes to the tone.
Absolutely, the duck sticker.
People
It
talk
could.
about the
It
quack
quacks
of a
a lot.
Strat,
That's right,
so
it
that's
quacks.
exactly it.
Now we've got a tribute Esquire here.
Yeah,
Jeff
that's-
Beck.
that's right.
If we can shoot on that, because we've only got about 3 or 4 minutes left, and it's kind of over here on my left. If we'll pull in a close up of that in a second here.
There you go.
And now that's tell us the story on that guitar, because that's quite the guitar.
This is an Esquire that Jeff Beck played in the Yardbirds, and he did Heart Full of Soul, I'm a Man. He did tons of the Yardbirds songs on that guitar. The original guitar is owned by Seymour Duncan, who traded Jeff Beck another Fender for it. And the guitar is residing at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland. We went out there and took the guitar apart and weighed it, replicated it, and made 150 of these. And that's a global number, so that means that maybe 50 to 75 for the USA
Or in
and
the
Canada.
US, yeah, I think it was like 75 or something. Yeah.
And then we replicated it, and we did a special case for it. The gig bag, we did a special gig bag for it. It comes with a DVD interview with Jeff and Seymour Duncan, talking about the guitar, a box set from Jeff, and it's really kind of a cool thing. It's part of our tribute series.
All of
And-
the goodies.
And what the tribute series does, just to touch on that, it pays tribute to iconic artists who have, contributed to modern music in one way or another.
Like
but did
Stevie
it-
Ray Vaughan and
but-
Jeff Beck.
But
and-
did it with utilizing a Fender.
Absolutely,
So-
which is most of them.
Yeah, and with the Stevie Ray Vaughan, it was really, this is kind of what got us to the level where we're at right now, where we replicate everything, all the little wire things back here, shields back here, so that the strings don't break. The same gauge of strings. It's
Little
tuned
stuff that he did.
It's tuned to
Tuned to
the
E
low
flat,
E.
yeah.
People have asked about the letters. They go, wait a minute, doesn't he have the reflector tape? Well, about 3 weeks before he died, he took those letters off, and he actually had the people at the NBC studios cut these out, and he stuck them on.
Okay,
When he
so
was taping.
this is actually the way
it's,
it was.
it's the way it sits now, and that's really kind of what we do with it. It's the way the guitar sits right now, and this is exactly how the guitar is sitting right now. But every nick, every ding, you can see there's a big slash right here from probably a cymbal or
A
something.
symbol, I can tell.
And,
I've done
Bunch
it
of
myself.
big dings down here on the bottom
Yeah.
too. I mean, just
This
huge
was-
chunks of wood taken out.
Yeah, this was just this was so mangled down in here
Yeah.
and up in here. So, anyways, with the tribute series, we go in and we take the guitar and we replicate it, and that's what we did with the Jeff Beck Esquire.
And that's very cool.
it's
That's very
neat.
cool. Well, we're almost out of time again, guys. We're going to have to do another show. I swear. We've only got
happy
a
to.
couple minutes to go, so arm yourself with a guitar and play us a little more music. Because part of what we do here on Making Music is to hear these things too. And you know, Fender does such a great job in making them, and it's one thing to look cool, but boy, the way it sounds. So we only got a minute to go. Go ahead and play some music for us, guys.